Okay, we're back. This time we're going to create some books that go into the table. To make sure that this table is not in our way when we click in this vicinity, I'm going to go ahead and select the table. I'm going to go down to the layers panel all the way to the right. If you click on this button, it'll place that table in the layer, right? And you can test that by clicking on the V. If that disappears, that means the table is in that layer. You can double click and rename it and hit save. Oops, I'm going to call it desk. All right, at this point, it is still selectable. So what you want to do is go to this rectangle right next to the V, click it one time, you're going to template the table. If you click it twice, you can see the geometry, but you can't select it. So whichever option you like is fine. Okay, I'm going to start and create the book for the table. So again, starting with my cube, I'm going to go to the top view, and I'm going to use the scale tool. I'm going to scale in this way and maybe make it wider. After you create the book, you can always go in and adjust the overall size. As far as the subdivision are concerned, I'm going to make it 3 over here. Oops. Now, we talked about that in class, and the reason that happened is because the geometry has been adjusted. So because of that, sometimes Maya acts funny when you try to add inputs in this in the subdivision in the inputs channel. See, it kind of act haywire. So we can go ahead and delete that and start with a brand new box. If you use the scale tool or the width and height tool over here, it doesn't seem to do the same thing. So I'm going to click on width. That will make it wider or narrower. Okay. Height will make it taller on the other way, which you can't see right now, and depth will make it wider. Okay, I'm going to try subdivision width is 3. See, now it doesn't go crazy. Height, we're going to keep it at 1, and depth, we're going to make it 4. Right? So if you go to the perspective view, you can see that now we have a book that's way too long. So you can, of course, now use the scale tool and scale it to the size that you need. Somewhat. Okay, we might have to scale it some more after we put the book in the table. And you can also bring the book up that way. All right, so we have a general book, but we have to do some more refining to make it look more like a book. So we're going to go up to the top view again. Right click, go to our vertex component. You're going to select all of these vertices in the center. Go to the scale tool and scale them in, just like this. And use the move tool and move them down right over here. Okay? So it looks something like this. We also need to take the two, the vertices or the edges over here. Hold the shift key and grab these. Or you can just grab both of them by dragging over them like this. Make sure that the ones on the ends are not selected. Use the scale tool and bring them towards that way. So these will be the edges of the book. All right. So right click, go to your object mode and hit F to frame. Okay, so now we need to make the insides of the book. So right click, go to face, select this face, and of course the bottom, shift key. And you are going to use extrude, but this time you're going to use the thickness option because that overall works a little better. So place your mouse on the thickness, middle mouse click and drag slightly. Just a small drag. That's a little too much, so I'm going to go into here to the input and change it to minus 0.05. Alright, that's just about right. Q to drop the tool, and here you have a nice book with a cover. Okay, if you want the edges to smooth out, here's a way to look at this object in smooth preview. If I press the number 3, you can see that it overall kind of collapsed the book, and make it look more like a taco. All right, 1 gets back to the polygon mode. So if you want to smooth the edges without having to go into bevel and stuff, you can right click, go to object mode, and what we have to do is to add some more edge loops to brace the object. In other words, we need an edge loop right here, right here, right here on the edges, and up here, all around the book. And this way, when we smooth the object, we won't have this happening. Okay, so I'm going to go to Mesh, Insert Edge Loop. I'm going to start with an edge loop right over here at the top of the book. We're going to add one at the bottom of the book. We're also going to add one on the edge right there. You see both sides are added. Alright, I'm going to add one right over here where the book folds in, and maybe one more right over there. Okay, press Q to drop the tool. Right click, go back to object mode, and we can test it by hitting 3. Now you have a book with edges relatively smooth, as you can see. Right? And you can also, if you want the book to have some kind of a shape, you can go to the top view, or let's see which is the best way to do it. Probably the top view. Alright, go to the top view, right click, go to vertex. You can grab these vertices at the end, press the W2 tool, or we're going to grab all of them right over here, drag them out slightly to give it a small curve on the book. Take these and drag it out just a tiny bit. Alright, that'll give your book a little rounded edge if you like. Okay, right click, go to object mode, and the book is complete. Now we have to place the book in on the desk and also to make more copies. So you're going to have to utilize your orthogonal view, and as you can see right now, the book is way too big for the shelf. So use your scale tool and scale the book to the shape you need or the size you need. Make sure it fits into the shelf. So we have a very small book. Okay. Now you can also right click, go to vertex, and grab all the vertices at the end and pull them down instead of scaling it. That's okay too. And I want it to be a tad bit skinnier. I'm going to drag it right there. Okay. So the book is made the right size for the cabinet, but it's facing the wrong way. So I'm going to go to the rotate tool, and I'm going to rotate the books so the binding face on the outside, just like that. All right, in the channel box, it was a 90-degree rotation on the y-axis, and you may not be rotating on the same axis as me, depending on how you made your table. I'm going to drag this all the way to the edge, so I need to look at the side view. Drag it to right over here, to the edge of the shelf. Command D will make a copy. Drag it over. And if you want to make multiple copies, Shift D a couple of times. Then you have more and more book. Alright, Command D one more. Take this book out. And this one I want to do a slight rotation as though the book is leaning on the rest of the books. Alright, so there you have it. And you can also come in here and add more books to the bottom shelf, add one on the table. However you want to do it is great. Okay, you can add CDs. They're made primarily the same way, but I'm going to go ahead and stop right here so you can customize your reading table to the way you like. Maybe put some smaller books or thinner books on the table. Okay, again, we're going to make sure we select all these books, the first one, and go to Edit, Delete All by Type History to clean it up. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and File, Save My Scene. And we're going to come back when we model the chair. Thank you.